Hello, 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 my beloved souls. How are you? Happy Magical Monday. Um, it used to be Divine Masculine Mondays, and you guys know that I've shifted things around because I've only want to do messages when they're really um strong to come through, right? I don't want to just be putting out content for the sake of content. So today, because my team of light is the dopest in the universe, we're gonna talk about intuition. And I know that's a word that, gets thrown around a lot. Everybody's like, trust your intuition, follow your higher guidance, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, I thought I trusted myself, and then something happens that's kind of against that. And then you start doubting yourself or questioning yourself or overthinking, right? Because the egoic mind is always going to kind of like push us away from that and casing whatever we're trying to like be, do, or have in the energy of fear, right? And not because it doesn't want you to like have more, be more, do more, accomplish your goals. It's just stuck in fear energy, right? And your intuition is the energy of love. That is what we manifest from. That is how you're moving forward. That is the higher guidance that is coming through for you. So I had some things on my plate, right? To kind of work out and sort through. Had some tension and frustrations in my energy field last week. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take the weekend to kind of disconnect. I've been around a lot of people. You guys know I'm a fucking walking energy sponge, right? I'm a transmuter. And when you're a walking alchemist and you're a walking, form of transmutation, you're picking it all up, right? It's like it's literally like imagine like a sponge going across like a dirty counter, and when it's done and the counter is clean, it's like fantastic. The counter is clean, but now the sponge is like filthy, and we need to wash that out, right? So I needed to wash out my energetic sponge. I needed to get my life together so that I can keep doing what I do, right? And as beings of light, you're not only attracting the butterflies, but you're attracting the mosquitoes too, right? So you just have to be mindful of that, mindful that all of these energies are going to be kind of like drawn to you and trying to like cling themselves to you. You have to find ways to really rinse yourself, find ways to stay grounded, find ways to protect your energy. And for weeks, they were having me do extra stuff to protect my energy. It's 11:11 on the clock. Um, whether that's wearing extra crystals or just shielding myself and my children in a bubble of light. I call upon Archangel Zachiel all the time with the violet flame and have that energy come into the home and literally purify everything in the home, as well as putting an angel of Archangel Michael's army at every doorway and every window, right? These are things that I do all the time. Um, to protect my energy, protect my children's energy, to protect our lives, right? Um, to just be mindful with the work that I do. Like again, I'm not only attracting the butterflies, I'm also attracting the mosquitoes. So I have to be mindful of that. Um, but I had a lot going on. I was guided to kind of like take a step back and rest, and I'm like, cool, that's what I'm gonna do. Take a little time out, like and just be one with myself again. And I was thinking about going to the beach. I was like, I'm drop my kids off at school. Maybe I'll go to the beach for a couple hours and just like meditate and get with Gaia, um, because I know that's an easy way just to cleanse my energy. But I was guided not to go to the beach, to instead like stay home and kind of like get a few things done. And I was like, okay, cool. Like I've learned to be really obedient on this path, even when it doesn't make sense, even when it's kind of against what I really want to do, right? Like I really wanted that like quiet moment to myself, but evidently there were other things that were more of a priority. Fast forward to today, and I didn't know why I was guided not to do that thing today. I was just trusting the fact that that's what it is. That's what it was. So fast forward to today, going to drop my daughter off at school, go through whatever we need to go through, go to drop my son off at the bus so that the bus so he can get to school, and there's a new driver. Now the other driver knows where he needs to go, everything, blah blah blah. So my son knows the routine. I'm like, don't forget, you gotta say this to get off the bus, let them know that you're getting off the bus, blah 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 blah. So he's texting me while we're going through, while he's on his route as we normally do. And I'm, running around, starting laundry, going to the laundromat. The place is fucking crowded, which never happens. That never happens. Like to the point where like I almost couldn't find a freaking machine. Sorry guys for all the background noise. Almost couldn't find a machine. And I was like, wow, this is annoying. So I was like, no, let me just stand here and wait, see if another one opens up. I got like 10 minutes for the next machine to open up. And I'm just doing that. And as I'm doing that, I'm talking to my son, trying to make sure that he's like on point to get to school. Because again, we have a new driver. So I'm tracking the bus because I can do so on my app. And I'm like, hey, don't forget, you're getting off soon. Next thing you know, he's way past the stop. I'm like, how the fuck did you get over there? So I'm like, all right, you got to go in the opposite direction that you came. He was completely like turned around, hadn't even gotten off the bus. So I'm thinking he got off the bus, and I'm like, all right, you just got to walk back. He was still on the bus, so he was like looping all around. And I was like, I'm like, just stay on the bus. Fuck it. Stay on the bus and I'll meet you because I know they're going to circle back at some point. So now I'm like rushing through the laundry. I finally got everything, put everything into the dryer with like literally with like 3 minutes to spare. Then I had something on the stove in the house. So I put everything in the dryer, run back to the house, cut the stove off, run back downstairs to go meet him on the bus. So I get on the bus and the bus driver's like, I didn't. I'm like, it's cool. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Um, Everything's gonna work itself out. Like he'll be late for school, but he ain't gonna fucking die. It's not a big deal. So took the bus, dropped him off, like took him myself to the school, and I'm like, hey, so let's not have this happen again. Lesson learned. Now you gotta pay attention. Not a big deal. You know what I mean? Everybody makes mistakes. We're human. You learn through it, you grow through it, we will evolve. So I was like, you know what, let me stay on this route because I've been wanting to stay on that route for a while just to see where it went out that I had time. So I stay on the route and it takes me to like three different places that I had been needing to go to that I didn't realize were on this route. I had no idea that I could just take this same bus that I used to drop my son off to school every day to continue on to go to these other places. So it was an awesome mistake, right? Obviously, there's no mistake. It's not a coincidence that I was guided to stay home today because I would have been nowhere near here if I had followed through with my plans in order to get him back to school in order to fix the situation, right? I wouldn't have discovered that in staying on this route, can easily access basically like door to door these other places that I needed to go to. Um, and it was just such a dope thing, right? It was just such a dope thing. And all it was just like trusting the guidance that I got from my team of light, right? Like just trusting them to just do what needs to be done and to take me where I need to go and to make sure that everyone is safe, guarded, protected at all times. So I was guided to just kind of like share that story with you guys today because I know that sometimes we go against our intuition. Sometimes we question it. Sometimes we worry about it. I know that I've been dealing with like a challenge at work that has me really frustrated and to the point where I was about to be like, yo, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, y'all can fucking kick rocks, fuck this place, blah, blah, blah. But I keep being guided to just like chill, be still, chill, be still. Like you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on. You don't have all the details yet. And I'm like, hey, team of light, because y'all know I don't like to be played with. Don't mess with my money. Don't waste my time. Like I'm not with the shits, right? So, but again, like I check in every day, like this good, kids good. I need to focus on something else with the kids. Like help me to be the best mom I can be. Help me to be the best, life, sex, and spirituality coach I can be. Help me to be the best version of myself. Like how can I serve today? What reveals to me what I need to know? Where do I need to be led? What's going on? Um, and I get people that will come up to me all the time, and I'm sure some of you guys do too if you're connecting with me that just like tell you all their business, whole life story, just be what's up, and the next thing you know, it's just like verbal diarrhea, and you're like, wow, okay, thank you for that image that I didn't really need, but like all these things. Um, but sometimes we just got to look at things for what they are and take a step back, trust in our intuition. Sometimes we're being guided to stay when we want to fucking dip, and sometimes we're being guided to dip when our heart is like, no, we want to stay. But it's like, do you really want to stay in that situation, or are you just comfortable with your dysfunction, right? Are you comfortable with the bullshit? Are you comfortable in a relationship just because you don't want to be alone? Is this really an act of love, or is this an act of loneliness? Is this you loving yourself and honoring yourself and respecting yourself, or is this you just kind of like dealing, tolerating, and making something happen because it's comfortable or because this is the bullshit that you recognize that right? It's better to deal with the devil we know than the devil we don't, right? That's a phrase that we use often. So I just wanted to kind of like tap in. Sorry, I'm bringing you guys closer. Just to really push forward for you, right? And just to really remind you, like, trust your intuition, trust that inner guidance, trust that feeling, that niggling feeling that you get in your body, right? When I'm connecting with my team of light, I will feel the answer within me, right? And so that answer normally comes through in my solar plexus energy, so I'll know whether I should move forward with it. You know, as soon as I call forth my team of light and I'm like, thank you, team of light, for being here, I feel them come into my solar plexus. And then I feel it spread throughout my body, right? So you need to be connected with your own body, your own spirit, your own self to kind of know how that feels and what that feels or looks like to you. But call upon your team of light. Man, I could, as soon as I say team of light, like I just feel them. Like, I know you guys are here. I love it. Covered in angel bumps. Um, and connect with that energy. Some of you may want to use a pendulum. You know, if you're questioning it, you can use any necklace that has a heavy weight at the bottom, right? And use that as your pendulum, right? And just, you serve the highest good. You serve the highest good. You serve the highest good. Look, it's moving my arm even. And then just see what direction that is for you, right? With me, whenever it's serving my highest and greatest good, it's going to come through as a big circle like this. And then I go, thank you for stopping. Show me a clear no. That's not me moving my arm, guys. That's the pendulum moving it for me, right? So my clear no is going to be side to side, and my yeses is going to be a big circle. And you can always check it to make sure the energies are there correctly and like that you're not fooling yourself, you know, because sometimes we're like, oh, I'm overthinking it, or maybe my arm moved, or maybe that was the wind or the fan or whatever. Fucking check in, you know, like check in with something that's very clear. Like if your name is Michael, be like, my name is Andre, you know, and then see what your pendulum does. Look, my name is Andre. It's giving me a hard motherfucking no because obviously that's not my name, right? My name is Autumn. And then I just wait. My name is Autumn. And there we go. So, you know, sometimes in your confusion and your questioning and your doubt, you know, if you don't necessarily have someone that you can reach out to talk to about this, or if you're not fully connected with your team of light yet and kind of understanding of feeling their energetic presence with you, right? The pendulum works. I use my pendulums all the time. I have a ton of freaking necklaces. This one is kind of my favorite, but I'm wearing it today. But the green aventurine works well. I also have one with black tourmaline, one with clear quartz. Like I have a ton of necklaces and a ton, and thus a ton of pendulums at the same time. Um, in case you can't, like, you know, connect, or you don't want to just necessarily, you don't have like a tarot deck with you to pull a card, or however it is that you get your answers, you know. Automatic writing works for a lot of people, right? You just sit down and you start writing and talking to your angels, and then at some point you let them just start talking back to you, right? You know, if you've been here with me for a while, you know I'm a big fan of journaling. Get that shit out of your body. Get it out, get it out, get it out, and acknowledge it, right? Like I literally peeped today what was going on, and immediately I was thanking my angels, thanking my guides. Thank you guys so much for telling me not to go to the beach today, because I wouldn't have been here for what I needed to be here for, which is my son. It's way more important than the fucking beach. You know what I'm saying? And making sure that he's situated and he's safe. Because when I thought he had gotten off the bus at the wrong stop, my heart was like, holy shit, like how's he gonna get there? Is he gonna get turned around? Oh my god, he might be lost. Like, you know, mommy mode, I'm freaking out just to find out he was still on the bus, just for him to come full circle right back to me, just for me to be able to reconnect with him and to go through it with him one more time. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't have been able to do that if it wasn't for my team of light. I also wouldn't have saw everything that I saw today if it wasn't for my team of light. So I really want you guys to start trying to, not trying, to start following your intuition, even if it doesn't make sense to you, right? Did make sense that I wouldn't go to the beach today. I had time. I had more than enough time. But I was guided not to. And now I know why. Our we don't always perceive our best interests, right? It says that in A Course in Miracles, right? Like we don't necessarily see the big picture, but we have access to amazing team of light with our angels and archangels and guardian angels, and spirit guides and ascended masters and ancestors and spirit animals and the Holy Spirit and your galactic star family. Like you have this amazing team working with you from the higher realms that are here in this moment that are like, yo, we got you. You don't got to do this alone. Faith is taking that step even when you don't see the next step, but you don't need to see it because you got a whole team that are like, yo, take the step. We got you covered. Like we got you covered. Like you literally got angels and guides that are like a whisper on the wind, right? A whistle in the darkness, a flicker of a light that are leading you forward. And it's subtle, right? The energy of the universe is very subtle. Your soul whispers. It's your ego that's going to shout. And so you need to dial that voice down, right? Quiet the egoic mind down so that you can hear your soul speak. And however, oh my gosh, the angel bumps, and however that comes through for you, right? I'm super energetically sensitive and I'm cool with that. Like, I don't have a problem with that. I know my limits. I know, like I said, this weekend I needed to take a step all the way back because I had been doing too much. I had been around too many people. I'd been picking up too many energies. I had been pulled into a lot of things that don't have to deal with me just so that I can help to be the mouth of God in those situations, right? To have the clarity to show them the bigger picture, right? That's what you do, right? I'm a fucking coach. Like it is what it is. It's a part of my life as as an energetic being, as a light worker. So I got to see all of that, but I also needed to clear my own energies and to get grounded, right? So they were like, "Hey, take a step back, chill out for a second." So I want you guys to start trusting your intuition, those little feelings. It's like you put something out into the universe, and then next thing you know, you're like, all right, God, what should I do? What do I need to do, if anything? And sometimes we don't need to do anything. That's a really human construct. Sometimes we always feel like, oh, I need to do, and I need it, I need, I need. And sometimes the answer is just chill. Sometimes the answer is stay home and watch movies. Go make yourself something to eat. Take a nap, take a shower, right? And then you might feel guilty. I'm a New Yorker. So we're always doing, right? It's in a New York minute, more happens than it does in most of the rest of the world because we just get shit done, right? I've lived in a lot of locations where people are like, "Hey, how you doing?" They want to stop and talk. I'm like, "Yo, this like, let's go. Bitches got shit to do. I'm not here to have a whole conversation with you. I don't care about you, your kids, family. Not that I don't care. Like, I wish them all well, but I don't have time for that right now. But there are other places that are just like, oh, they want to stop and like build a whole relationship with you, even though there's a line of like 15 people behind you waiting to get shit done. Because that's just how it is in different, areas of the world, even different parts of this country. So, in some aspects, I've had to learn how to slow things down. In other aspects, I'm like, no, y'all need to catch up to us. Like, I'm not you're killing me, five. Like you're killing me. So trusting those feelings to chill out, to rest, to take a step back, to do something that's just pleasurable but not necessarily productive, right? Like our egoic mind could be like, "What are you doing? You need to grind. You need to work harder. You need to push yourself. You need to just keep going because it's competing in this fear energy, right? It's competing in this low vibrational energy, this like crab in a barrel energy. Your soul realizes that it's not lonely at the top because there's not enough space. It's lonely at the top because not enough people want to get there, right? And so our souls are all like, yo, go up to the top. There's mad room. And then you get to help other people come up to the top too, right? The only time you should be looking down is what? When you're helping somebody else up. This isn't about a crab in a barrel thing. This is about us all winning. This is about us all being conduits of change. This is about us all leading the way. And for some of you, like myself, we're pioneers on this. And so the journey is going to be a little tougher at times. It's going to be a little bit more challenging, right? Because you're the one walking through the thickness of the jungles of life with your machete of truth, having to cut those vines, having to cut through the branches, having to look out for the animals, having to make the pathway for others to follow behind you, right? And that's not always easy. Someone flying behind me. Um, and that's not always easy, right? That can be a challenge. I know For me, that's been a really big challenge, and one in which I'm so grateful for my team of light for being here with me and supporting me and loving me and guiding me through this and reminding me at every step of the way, at every turn, at every corner, at every bridge, at every, mountaintop, that I'm not alone. Sometimes it's just like you get to like a level and you're like, shit, like, where do I go from here? Right? It's like you can't see a way. You don't see if you're supposed to go forward or to the side. You don't see a way down. It's like you're up on this huge freaking mountain. You got into this like plateau area. And now it's like it just seems like everything like stops. Like you're just like, oh shit, where do I go from here? Like, do I have to go back down and go around? Like, how do I get here? And you're just like so frustrated. And you tap into that energy, and you tap into your team, and you tap into your higher self, and then all of a sudden it's like, go to the right, and you don't see anything at first, but when you go to the right, and then you realize when you go around that little embankment, holy shit, there's a little pathway there. Wow, there's a bridge there. Wow, like there's a tree there that I can climb up or climb down. Like however a river or stream, whatever's over there for you, right? Whatever is meant to be will be there for you. But you're trusting that guidance, even when it doesn't make sense, even when you can't see, because they see things from a higher perspective. They see the big picture. They see where you're going and they see how to get you there. And so trusting that, right? So following those leads, following that intuition and seeing things. Sometimes there's block after block after block after block after block in something. And we're like, what the fuck? Is it a red flag for you to maybe walk away? Like, listen, these things keep coming up because this is no longer serving you. Or is it coming up to challenge you to see if you really want it? Right. And that's where your discernment needs to come in. That's where you need to call upon your team of light and be like, all right, cool. Listen, I'm seeing this, and go down. Right. So this is what this is where I am at. This is where I'd like to be. Is this the right pathway for me? Right? It's like if I proceed down this pathway, is this going to serve my highest and greatest good and put me on my highest and greatest timeline, or do I need to do something different? And sometimes it'll be like, no, keep going with this. I know it's a challenge, but you got this. Like you're growing through these lessons so that you can get to where you need to go. And sometimes it's like, no, that's not the fucking thing for you to do, bitch. Like, what don't you understand? Like, how many different ways can we tell you? But that's when you tap into your team of light. I had a friend of mine who was getting married, and when I tell you the universe did everything in its power to be like, don't do this shit. And I mean, like, there was so many signs, so many synchronicities, so many messages coming through. And she's very stubborn, right? So it was just like, I'm gonna make this happen. I'm gonna make this happen. I'm gonna make this happen. I'm gonna make it work. Okay, cool. I'm like, you know, no one's gonna fault you if you change your mind or back down or whatever. But she didn't want to do that because people had spent money. It was a destination wedding on like people had spent money on going to this place and took time off of work. Cool. Like if you want to make a lifelong commitment to somebody because you don't want to inconvenience someone for a free trip, fantastic. Whatever. That's on you. Um. So she proceeded with this union, and it's been a downhill spiral since then. Like from day one, nothing, nothing. And the universe came through a million and one times. Like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. So many blocks, so many challenges, so many red flags, so many interruptions. It was just like it couldn't have been a clearer message if they decided to fucking like put it on the billboard or maybe on the back of an airplane and fly it over the beach. It couldn't have been a clearer message. But pride and ego had her make a choice that she's now in for lifetime, right? That's what we say, lifelong commitment. Be discerning also in who you're getting your advice from, right? Are these people based in love or are they based in fear? Is somebody telling you because they tend to be fear mongers and live their lives in a low vibrational stance? Are they responding to you and answering you because of where they're at in life? or because of where you're at in life and where you're really going, right? I'm not going to say that people are purposely being deceptive, although there are, some disgusting people like that out there. I'm not going to say they're purposely being deceptive, but a person that has lived most of their life in fear does not understand what it's like to respond in love. It is what it is, right? And that's like no harm, no foul, but you have to be discerning in who you're taking your advice from, right? Is somebody talking you out of your goals and dreams because they couldn't accomplish theirs because they got scared? Is somebody giving you advice on what you need to do with your life because of the trials and tribulations they've been through and they don't think it's fair that another person doesn't go through it? Right? I get a lot of guidance at times when it comes to parenting my children from people that are very bitter and resentful at being single parents, right? And so I have to be mindful of the advice that I take from them because I understand where they're coming from. Bitter, resentful, angry, frustrated, lack mentality, right? Little materialistic at times, and that's not who I am, right? Like if things work out with me and my baby father, or don't, if we're arguing, or if we're good, I don't hold any resentment for him because at the end of the day, you helped me bring two amazing souls into this world. And if that was all you were meant to do, fantastic. If you do more on top of that, fantastic. If you don't do more on top of that, fantastic. Guess what? That's between you, God, and them. I'm not losing sleep over it. God gave them to me to steward. I'm going to love them unconditionally and just pour into them as much as possible and keep asking the divine to help guide them and help guide me so that I can be the best version of myself for them, so that I can continue to give them this great life, so that I can help to get them on their path and on their missions and fulfill their soul contracts. And I'm gonna mind my business when it comes to a lot of other things because at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure God got it. Like, I'm gonna mind my business. Those are his kids before they're mine, right? So just be mindful of that. I don't know why all of that stuff is coming up for y'all today, but it is what it is. So sorry, I have to drink my millionaire tea because throat chakra shit. You know what I'm saying? All right, I'm gonna pull one card from the Guardian Angel deck because I want you guys to really connect with your guardian angels. I keep saying connect with your team of light, who is that for you? One, we all have guardian angels, right? They've been with us from the beginning of time, and they will be with us until right, because there's no end to time. So you got a guardian angel, you got a homie, a bestie that's right there on that hip, just loving you side by side, holding you down. Some of you have more than one. Our angels, our guardian angels, been with us forever, ever, 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 ever. And then we have other angels that come, throughout the pathways of life, right? There are some that are going to help you with school, some that are going to help you with work, some that are going to help you in the bathroom, some are going to help you in relationships, some are going to help you when it comes to your diet and your health. And, you can call upon the angels for a whole bunch of different things. There's prayers in the Bible for everything, literally, for even like when you have a hard time pooping. There's a prayer for everything. You can ask the angels for everything. I think we often will only call upon God when it's like something big, someone's dying, there's an emergency, or someone's in jail, and then we're like, oh God, can you help them? But call upon God for everything. Everything, everything, everything. Everything, everything, everything. God, help me to get a good night's sleep tonight so I can wake up energized and refreshed. Help me pick the right foods in the grocery store so I can make the best meal for my family. Help me to eat healthier. Help me to be more vibrant. Help me to love myself. Help me to know that I am loved. Help me to claim the birthrights of abundance and joy and harmony and peace and love and prosperity that are mine by divine right. Right? Like guide me with all of this, Lord. Remind me of who I am. I am blessed. I am sovereign. I am love. I am divine. I am beautiful. I am handsome. I am worthy. I am deserving. Right? I am yours. I am God. I am God's. Right? Like, call out to God for everything. The angels are here to help us. Right? The angels are here to help us. And so you don't have to feel guilty or ashamed or worried or needy or any of that shit by calling upon them. It's their job to help you. Their job to help you. It's like kids in school that don't want to ask a teacher a question. It's their job to teach you. right? If you don't know something, ask the motherfucking question. Now, if they don't do their part and they don't want to answer questions, guess what? Then they don't need to be in that position. But you don't have the same issue with angels. They're not going to give you an attitude because you're asking them for shit. You can never ask too much of the divine. You literally can't. We ask too little of the divine. And that's why the world is fucked up now, because we don't know how to call upon God for all of our things. I, I mean, everything. We're going to do laundry. Thank you, God, for being here with me in the laundromat. Thank you, angels, for leading me to the right machines. Thank you for helping me find a parking space. Thank you for charging my phone quickly. Thank you for protecting my children. Thank you for waking me up this morning. Thank you for this gorgeous day. Thank you for this breeze. Thank you for the snow. Thank you for the sun. Thank you for the gnats that are freaking irritating me. Like whatever it is. Whatever it is. Thank you for, you know, the whatever. Just be grateful and thankful and acknowledge. When we have an awareness of things and we acknowledge things, things happen so much faster. Like I said this morning with my son, the first thing I did was peep that, I was guided not to go to the beach today, and and I need to be here for this situation. Like, thank you, angels, for that, because I would have been nowhere near here in order to be here for my son. What could possibly be more important than that? Me going to get grounded, or me making sure that my seed is safe? You know what I'm saying? So the first thing I did was acknowledge them and thank them for that awareness. And then I tapped in with the other things. All right, cool. What else do I need to be focusing on? What else do I need to do? You know? And there's certain situations where I'm kind of like, I'm not with it. And they're like, this is what you need to do. And I'm like, I'm not saying I'm always obedient and it's joyful. Listen, sometimes I have a motherfucking attitude. But like it is what it is. I'm a fucking Aries. Sometimes I have attitude. I'm obedient. I'll do what I have to do. Doesn't mean that I'm gonna like it. I might roll my eyes and stomp and suck my teeth a little bit while I do it, but I'm gonna go do it because at the end of the day, we do not always perceive our best interests. And so I'm gonna trust in a higher power that got the bird's eye view, that's seen the big motherfucking picture, and I get over myself. Okay? So anyway, trust your intuition. That is God speaking through you, right? That's your higher self coming through you. That's those answers. That's your team of light. That little feeling you get. That's your team of light being like, what? Call upon your team of light. Call upon the angels, the ancestors, the ascended masters, Yeshua. I don't know how many times I've called upon Jesus, and we all know this power in the name of Jesus, right? That I've called upon him when I didn't even know what prayer to say. Sometimes, my favorite prayer is thank you. My favorite prayer is thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And sometimes all I can say is, Jesus, help me. Lord, help me. God, help me. Angels, help me. Sometimes you don't have the words, and sometimes your prayer is going to be the tears that are running down your face, and that's okay. It doesn't need to be some fucking long, drawn out speech. It really doesn't. God, please, can be enough. Jesus, please. They know what's in your heart, they know what's in your spirit. I was in New York one time. Sorry, I know I said I was going to pull a card, but I just feel like you guys need to hear this. So I was in New York one time, coming home from work, and I worked at this French restaurant. This amazing French people, right? They were so cute. One of my friends, Michel, sweetest old man. He was freaking adorable. I'm waiting at the bus stop, and I see a guy pull up in a car, and it looks like my friend Michel. And so the guy's like waving and was like, "Come, come, come!" And literally, that's a whole. This is gonna be literally. I saw Michel. I saw Michel. Very clear as day. Start walking to the car, get into the car. Now, we all know there's like darker forces in this universe that like to play games, manipulate shit. So when I got into the car and closed the door and I looked, I realized that wasn't Michelle. But now I'm in a car that I don't know, and this guy is driving where I don't know, and this is not my friend. And my heart's racing because now I don't know what to do. Right now I don't know what to do because I'm like, holy shit. And so I was like, and in my head I was just like, Jesus, please, like I don't like that's all I could think was to call upon Jesus. Jesus, please, like I don't know what to do. And As we get to, sorry, I thought I heard my phone ringing. As we get to traffic light, he goes to make a left. Now it's right near the train station I needed to go to, but again, I don't know where he's going. I don't know who this man is. I was just kind of like, oh shit, you're not who I thought you were. He stops. No, police car stops the car, right? All I did was call, is that my phone? My phone's doing too much. Um, all I did was call upon Jesus. And it literally, I was like, Jesus, please. It was not even 2 minutes later that the sirens went off and his car was pulled over. And I was able to get out the car and go into the train station. And my heart is like racing because I realized at that moment that like Jesus just saved me. All he did was send the cops. Don't know who this man was. I don't know what his intentions were. I know that I was in a locked car with a man that I didn't know, and I was freaking out, and I didn't even know like what to do. You know what I mean? So call upon them for everything, and not just in situations where you're not safe. Call upon them for everything. I was walking out the store the other day and just thanking God for protection, protecting me, protecting my children, protecting the home, protecting the people that I love. And I'm just in my head, just thank you. I'm, for protecting me, and I'm just giving it up, glorifying the Lord, just in my head. And as I go to turn the corner, I hear, boom. I turn the fucking corner. This car was got wrecked, spun around, half the cars on the fucking ground. And this man was coming out of work out of the medical center, and I only know that because he was still in his scrubs. And another car fucking hit him. And I mean, bumper, hubcaps, shit everywhere, right? And this is me as I'm like thanking God for protection, thanking God for protection, thanking God for protection. And I was just like, wow. And I'm telling my kids that story, and they're like, wow, and you were just praying for protection. Imagine if you would have left like 5 minutes earlier, you could have been standing there because that's normally the place where I cross the street. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't even know what we're being protected from. We don't even know sometimes why we're being guided to go right or go left or go straight or just wait where we're at. We don't always know. We don't always know. There are many times where I've been guided to go in a certain direction and I still to this day don't know, but sometimes it's not for you. It's for the person you might have walked by. It's for the energy that you might have brought onto that block, right? I'm an alchemizer. I'm a walking, living alchemizer. It is what I am. I transmute energies. It's what I do. I walk through a place and I clean it up energetically and I just keep it going. I never necessarily know who needed that energy. I don't know why. I don't ask questions. I just go with my energy sponge and I clean the motherfucking space and then I go about my business. Right? And so sometimes that's what you're being called to do. Sometimes you're just being called to just go share your energy. Maybe someone just needed to see your face. Maybe someone needed to be a part of your light, right? To walk through your delicious aura. Maybe there's something that you said or something that you're wearing that's speaking directly to their hearts. We never know, right? So it's our task to just be obedient and to just keep trusting and know that we're always being led to our highest and greatest good, to know that we're always being led to our happily ever after, to know that our teams of light, our angels, our guides, ancestors, right? The ascendant masters, spirit animals, spirit guides, your guardian angels, the galactic star family, right? The Holy Spirit, they're always, 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 always guiding you through love. They love you beyond measure, and I tell you guys that at the end of every video, right? I love you, God loves you, angels surround you. If you guys knew the capacity, the fullness of the love that they have for you, you wouldn't worry about a thing. More than likely you'd start crying. Like, I'm getting emotional now because it's such an overwhelming feeling to be so loved, and to you don't have to be perfect. Your makeup doesn't have to be perfect. Your hair doesn't have to be cut. Your teeth could be motherfucking funky because you ain't even brush your teeth yet. And it's all right. They love you and your imperfection, right? Because in the eyes of the divine, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. So just be aware of that and trust in that and follow that and let it lead you. Let it guide you, right? To the desires of your heart, to your happily ever after, to your goals, to your dreams. Even if sometimes it feels like the steps are counterproductive, right? It's like We don't always perceive our best interests. We can't always see the big picture. And so sometimes the guidance might be to go to fucking Starbucks and you don't even drink coffee. And you're like, why am I going to Starbucks? Guess what? Follow your intuition. Maybe on the ride over there, you're going to meet someone or have a conversation with someone, or maybe you'll bump into someone online at Starbucks. Maybe you'll see they have a new item that you actually like that brings joy to your heart. Or maybe you'll see, like, across the street from Starbucks, they just built something that you actually want to deal with. Maybe you'll run into an old friend. Or maybe you just needed to get out the house for a minute to shift your energy and to get out of your head for a second. And maybe somebody needed to feel your energy, to see your face, to feel your light, to be reminded of the goodness of God, that because you were there, because you decided to show up. Maybe you're just there to offer a kindness to the person behind the counter. Or maybe they're there to just offer a kindness to you in this moment. Whatever the case may be, follow through with it. Okay. My beautiful guardian angels, what message do we have for our wonderful collective today? What do you want to tell everybody? All right. Bottom deck, learning experience. That's this earth school. That's this earth school. Life is never happening to you, life is happening for you. So, what are you learning through all of this? How can you grow through these perceived challenges and obstacles? And there, I say perceived because it's how we look at things, right? Are you looking at this as a challenge and an obstacle, or are you looking at this as a joyful step to get yourself to the next level of your ascension, of your growth, of your evolution? All right. Holding the light, a reminder that you are the light. Be that. Okay? Be that. First card out was transformation. I love this. It's such like RuPaul energy, right? This is about the changes that we're all growing through right now. And I keep saying growing through and not going through because I want you guys to really understand that that's what's occurring. We're growing through these changes, right? And so you're changing from the inside out. And as you change within, guess what? Your outer world is going to begin to change. So start embracing with open arms all of the changes that are going through. And for some of you, I really feel like your heart chakra is being super activated at this time. You're coming into your power and you're remembering your sovereignty. I feel like some of you need to connect with the story in the Bible where Jesus is on the boat. And there's a huge like storm taking place as they're going across the Galilee, and his freaking disciples are freaking out. Like, Master, we're gonna die, don't you care? And he got up and was like, Wind, be still. And he's looking at them like y'all don't even remember how powerful you are. You have the power to control weather. And that's not some petty Betty, oh, I'm powerful, hocus pocus type of shit. This is you understanding your energy, your sovereignty, that you were created in the image of God, and allowing that to work through you. And once you start to understand who and whose you are, your life begins to change. It begins to transform. For some of you, many of you, your heart chakra is truly opening up. It's delicious. Do the work. It's called light work. Gotta do it. I told you, I'm a walking alchemist, transmuter. It's what I do. I'm out in these streets, out in these good streets of planet Earth, and I'm just like, violet flame over here, heart energy over here, grounding over here. Let me pour into someone over here, right? You show up. Just look at this. More energy at that heart chakra. Wow. There's some big activations going on here for you guys. Big healing of the heart. I think that's so funny because I was drawn to wear the green aventurine today. And green crystals match our heart chakra, right? Because green is the color of the heart chakra. So maybe you wanted to get some green aventurine. Um, any green or pink crystal actually will help you with your heart chakra. Um, green aventurine, rose quartz, jade, Emerald. What else is coming through? Pink amethyst. All those things will be super helpful to you. And then what? Look, again, hand over the heart. Huge heart chakra activations going on, guys. Forgiveness and understanding. Yeah. So let's talk about the energy of forgiveness. 44:44 on the clock. That's the angels coming through. Forgive yourself. Okay. I know that there are people that we have perceived have wronged us in this world, and I'm going to keep saying perceive because it's all a matter of perception, right? Um, that have wronged us in this world. You need to forgive yourself for all the times you stayed when you shouldn't have, for all the times you didn't trust yourself, you didn't trust your intuition, you didn't trust your own guidance, you didn't believe in yourself, you didn't love yourself, you didn't think that you were worthy. It's fine, right? Like, it's fine. That time is done. You're a child of the divine, and in the eyes of God, you are perfect in your imperfections. You're perfect in your imperfections. And it's a matter of, excuse me, taking a step back and looking at the big picture. What was I supposed to learn in that situation? What did I learn in that situation? How did it grow me? We have come here in this beautiful earth school, and we decide that there are certain things that we're going to go through and grow through while we're here in order to help ascend and to elevate the vibration of the planet and to heal karma and to break generational curses. Like, we come through. And so there are certain people that come into our lives that are meant to teach us these really awful lessons, right? Some of you incarnated in families that are fucking toxic, narcissistic, evil, abusive, right? And you're like, why am I here? Why don't they love me? Whatever. And then we start dating. As we get older, we start dating the freaking carbon copies of these motherfuckers, right? Like, how many of you have dated a version of your mom or a version of your dad? How many of you were abandoned by a parent as a young child, and so you date people and they end up abandoning you now? How many of you had dealt with a parent who's, no matter what you did, it wasn't good enough, and so now you're in relationships or you're at work trying to do any and everything you can to try to feel like you're worthy, like you're good enough, just to be treated as less than in those dynamics as well, right? How many of you had to deal with abuse from the people that were supposed to protect you, and now you're in a situation where you're being abused again, verbally, physically, sexually, financially, mentally, emotionally, right? It is when we stop being angry, stop being resentful, stop being bitter, stop pointing fingers, that we take our power back. Because in the middle of that angst, of that anger, of that frustration, we are disempowered. Every time you lose your temper, you give your power away. You just lost. You lost the argument, you lost the fight the minute you lose your temper. And I know that's challenging. I told you I'm a fucking Aries. I like to pop off. My mouth is crazy. Mouth is crazy. It takes a lot for me to, like a little winch. I gotta dial it in. Like, I get it. So this is the energy of opening your heart. This is the energy of not only forgiving yourself, forgiving the people, the places, the things, the situations that you were growing through that caused that anger, that frustration, that bitterness, that resentment, that fear energy to be prevalent in you. It's a beautiful prayer. Um, I want to say it's by Diana Cooper. I don't know if she wrote it, but she's the one that I learned it from. And she says, I offer forgiveness to anyone that may have hurt me, consciously or unconsciously, in this lifetime or any other, in all directions of time and space. I receive forgiveness for anyone that thinks that I may have hurt them consciously or unconsciously in this lifetime or any other, in all directions of time and space. And I accept forgiveness. Anyone that may have hurt me consciously or unconsciously in this lifetime or any other, in all directions in time and space. See, just like we have been hurt, we have also been the person that's hurt another person. We're all the bad guy in somebody's story. We're all the bad guy in somebody's story. And so it's time to receive forgiveness. It's time to accept forgiveness. It's time to offer forgiveness. And I want you to start with yourself. Forgiving and loving yourself, first and foremost. First and foremost, you did the best that you could in those situations, 9 times out of 10, right? And maybe it's a part of your soul contract to be a really fucked up human being for a little while. But it's also a part of your soul contract to heal that energy, to heal that karma, to end those patterns, right? To not continue to go to God and ask for forgiveness and peace and then to turn around and do it again. The story in the Bible where Jesus healed a person, I think he had like some type of crazy ass STD. Jesus, came through with the hookup. Boom, healed that ass. And when he was done, he was like, now go and sin no more. Right? Now, does this mean this person's going to live a perfect angelic life? No, but it means like, yo, you was just out here in these streets fucking hitting anything that moved. Your dick was about to fall off. I just helped you. Now, don't turn around and go do the same dumb shit. Like, I just helped you fix it once. I'm not coming through to fix it again. Lesson learned. What did you learn? You can't be hitting everything that moves. Don't do it anymore. You get one fix one time. Showed you mad love. Now go live your life a little bit differently. You know what I mean? Like it's literally those things. Like be a better person. Be a better person. So forgiveness. And when you forgive and when you offer that energy of forgiveness, guess what? Especially when you forgive yourself, but you also forgive another person, you heal the energy. You take your power back. You cut the karmic ties. You end that lesson. You get to ascend and move forward. And for many of you, when you offer that energy of forgiveness and you do what you're being guided to do, to look at it through the eyes of the divine, to look at it from a higher perspective, you will see the brokenness in that soul as well. I was sexually assaulted for the first time at 4 years old, first time. And I didn't understand it. Obviously, I was a little girl. And this was by another little kid. This wasn't an adult that assaulted me. This was another child. I want to say I was like 4 or 5 years old. Um, they were the same age or thereabouts, maybe like a year difference. And as an adult, it took me, especially as I began on this path and I was going through the dark night of the soul and I went through all this shit, it took me a long time to kind of be like, what did he go through that had him do that to me? Because again, he was a child as well. Like I never held any resentment or anger towards him because I just didn't understand like how one kid would do that to another kid. I didn't understand where it came from, right? But as I thought back, over the years, and I had to be like, what was going on with him that he felt like he needed to do that? That was his energy, and what is going on with him now? Because that's a huge karmic lesson that you just that's a huge amount of karma that you just created for yourself. You know what I mean? And so I did a soul retrieval, saw that he's not doing well and that's awful, and so I went within myself and I met with my team of light and I just put the energy out there. Like I forgive him. I have no hard feelings because I understand the big picture level one that he probably came in. It was probably one of our soul contracts. However fucked up that is, like it is what it is. People grow through a lot of different things. Um, but also how hurt and what he was growing through at the time in his own life, in his own household, to be able to do those things. You know what I mean? And so a lot of people that I have perceived that's hurt me throughout the years, I've had to take a step back and be like, okay, cool. Thank you for those lessons, you know? And sometimes the lesson is like, I just need to trust myself or stop being so trusting to other people, you know? Take people as they are, but place them where they belong. Real talk. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't mean that I don't see you as a child of God. It doesn't mean that I don't see the perfectness of your soul, but it does mean that you're on your human bullshit right now. You need to stay over there, right? We're gonna set some motherfucking boundaries. This is my dance space. This is your dance space. You know, like we're gonna do the damn thing. So once you offer that energy of forgiveness, it takes that cancerous energy out of you. Cancer is just resentment. That's all cancer is. Cancer is resentment that has been stored in our body that we have not allowed to release. It comes out and it's expressed in a lot of different ways. Breast cancer, ovarian cancer, testicular cancer, brain cancer. Like, there's all types of cancers in this world because of where we're storing that energy within our body, that resentment, that guilt, that fear, that frustration, that anger, that lack, whatever it is. That's how it's showing up in our body. And when we don't give it a voice, which is why I'm always telling y'all a motherfucking journal, but when we don't give it a voice, it gets stored within our body. And when we don't let that energy move, guess what? The body's like, oh, here we go. You need to pay attention to this. Now we're about to lose a toe. Now we're about to lose one of our tits because you decided not to pay attention to this. Right? Because you're trying to be like a fake ass martyr out here in this world, you know, thinking that you gotta be doer and be everything to everybody and then feel resentment and frustration when they're not doing the same thing for you. It was like, well, did they ask you to do all of that? Or did you offer and now you feel some kind of way because it's not being reciprocated? And are you doing all of that because you're trying to earn love in some way, shape, or form? Because you feel like you're not good enough unless you're doing something for someone in order to earn their love? You know, it's a cycle. It's a cycle, guys. And it keeps cycling back. So we open our hearts and we learn to forgive. It gives us a deeper understanding of ourselves, a deeper understanding of the person, place, situation that we had to deal with, and a deeper understanding of the lessons. And in these cards, oh my gosh, I didn't even peep it here too, right? In all of these cards is a big emphasis on our heart chakra, which means that there's a big emphasis on the energy of love. God is love, pure divine love. Anything outside of that is fear, is a lie, is illusion. Okay? God loves you beyond measure. You are perfect in the eyes of the divine. You are perfect in the eyes of the divine. And your guardian angel is standing there with you, loving you, pouring into you, working with you, working for you, working through you at any given moment. Yes, this is a planet of free will, right? And we can choose to love ourselves or not. We can choose to love God or not. We can choose to believe in God or not. Like, it is what it is, right? You are who you are. Live your best life. All I'm saying is, I was mad at God for like 10 years. I'm not even kidding. For like 10 years. So many people in my family had died. I thought God hated my family. And I was like, well, if it's fuck me, nigga, fuck you. On my bullshit, right? For like 10 years. I'm not even kidding. For like 10 years, I was mad at God. Because I just didn't understand. Like, why are you killing everybody? I didn't understand soul lessons and soul contracts and the fact that we all come in here on a timeline. Like, I didn't understand that. I just thought he hated my family because people were dying back to back to back to back to back to back to back. I don't even go to funerals anymore. Real talk. I don't do funerals. People, I'm like, I don't do funerals. I might go to the wake, depending on who you are. More than likely, I won't do that either. Um, it would have to be something big. Like, my Nana, when she passed away, went to that. One of my cousins who was like a second mom to me went to that. All the respects. All the respects. You know what I mean? But like, don't get offended if you ask me to come to a funeral and I don't come. Because I don't do funerals. One, I went to so many as a child. I'm good. I did my time. Two, I also understand that death is not final, right? Like, I'm the chick in Wakanda celebrating because you just passed over. My daughter did not understand that scene in Wakanda Forever, and she was just like, "Yo, they're dancing." I was like, "Yeah, because they know death isn't final. Like, he's chilling. He ain't in pain. His life ain't in danger. He ain't got no bills. He can be with anyone at any given moment. He's going back to the other side. He's with the ancestors. Like, life is good. He's out of this temporary meat suit and back to the internal timeline. Like, he's chilling right now. And I was like, that's where we're all going to be going. I was like, y'all better not be crying at my funeral. You being it, turn it up, taking shots. You know what I'm saying? Playing beer pong. I don't know. Do this thing. But I'm that person. Because if I'm in the space at the funeral, guess what? I feel the energy of the person that's crossed over, not the energies of the people around me. And their energy is pure joy because they're on the other side of the veil. So you're not going to understand while I'm laughing and giggling because I'm feeling how good they feel. People don't understand that unless, they're like the Wakandans, but that's a whole nother conversation. So anyway, open up your hearts, live your motherfucking best life. Know that you are loved beyond measure and trust and follow your intuition. Okay? Cannot stress that enough. All right, I'm gonna leave it there. I don't even know. Wow, I've been on here for an hour, so didn't mean for that to happen, but it is what it is. The messages needed to come through. So I will tell you this because you're amazing and wonderful and perfect in your imperfections and a part of this amazing tribe, the High Vibe tribe. And welcome to all the new members as well. Sorry in case I haven't given you personal loves. Hugging you and welcoming you. I love you. God loves you. Angels surround you. Angels surround you. Angels surround you. Call upon them at any given time and know that you are truly best. Best? Okay. You are truly the best. They're telling me. All right. And blessed. Jesus. Okay. I'll say that. I love it. Ask for God's grace in your life, in every area of your life. You'll be surprised about the magic that's going to happen, especially on this magical Monday. All right. Now my hand's itching. I love you. God loves you. Angels surround you. Later, my beloveds.